Hey everybody, welcome back. We're doing the foundations and we're doing intro to CSS, and in this video we will be doing the class ID selectors section of this. So if you haven't seen the previous videos, in the previous video we did the git cloning, forking and cloning of the repository, and so now we have that repository here, and this is class ID selectors. So the desired outcome, okay, so we see this this is the way that we want it to look, and so if we open up the index HTML in our web browser, we see that it looks like this. So we want this to look like this, and obviously it doesn't yet. So let's check out the README. Knowing how to add class and ID attributes to HTML elements, as well as use respective selectors, is invaluable. It's important to practice using them. There are several elements in the HTML file HTML file provided, which you will have to add either class or ID attributes to. As noted in the outcome image below, you will have them. You will then have to add rules in the CSS file provided using the correct selector syntax. Look over the outcome image carefully and try to keep in mind which elements look similarly styled, the classes, which ones may be completely unique from the rest, or the IDs. Okay, so let's take a look at this. So we can open up the index here. Yeah, okay. So we see there's no class or IDs in here, so we'll probably be adding to the HTML. To keep in mind elements similarly styled. Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to look at. I wanted to see the desired outcome. And we'll just pop this right here. All right. Just lower this down so we can read it. So similarly styled, you notice there's a red background on all three, on 1, 3, and 5. You notice the font size is different for 2, 3, and 4, and maybe 5. And yeah, so hopefully they'll provide some guidance. Which ones may be completely unique from the rest, ID, and which ones have slight variance from the others, multiple classes. It isn't entirely important which class or ID values you use, as the focus here is on being able to add the attributes and use the correct selector syntax to style elements. For the colors in this exercise, try using non-keyword value, RGB, hex, or RSL. So what did that mean? Just use like blue or red or whatever. The properties you need to add to each elements are as follows. Okay, so all odd-numbered elements. Okay, so we see these are the elements in the HTML, right? So these are odd, odd, and odd. So that's the P class. Where is it? Odd. All odd number elements. A light red/pink background and a list of fonts containing Verdana, Deja Vu Sans, and Sans Serif as a fallback. All right, so odd numbered elements. So we could just do this one. We can make this a class is equal to odd number element, and we can add this to all three of the odd numbered ones. We need to make sure space there. Okay, so now we've got that. Let's open this guy up again. And we can open our CSS. We'll do our CSS up here. So here we go, odd number element. That's equal to, oh, and we need to make this a class, so we want to start it with a period. And what did it say? Put this on the side here. A light pink background, so background color. Light pink, can we do that? Light pink. Cool, so now if we save this, and we save this, and then when we refresh here, we see we've got light pink as the background color. And a list of fonts containing Verdana, Deja Vu, and Sans Serif as a fallback. So also we want to add here, we're going to go font family, and do that guy. Now that has some obvious syntax errors, so we want to fix that. I think we want to go make them comma separated. Cool. Now if we save that, we should see these change. So we refresh, and it looks like the family is better. Okay, so yeah, this actually looks the right way. Okay, the second element, blue text and a font size of 36. Okay, so we can just call this one second element. And here we're going to do a class selector as well. And it's saying that it wants text, so color blue. And then we want the font size to be 36 px. Cool. And we can save this, and now we should see when we refresh the page, the second element should be blue text. Second element didn't work. Class. Save that. Div class ID. Huh. Second element. Oh, okay. So it wants this to be an ID. If we change this to second element and we change this to ID, and we save that, make sure to save the CSS as well, and then refresh. There we go. Now we've got it. So yeah, that's crazy. That's interesting that the ID selector styles the div differently than the class selector. Okay, the second element, blue text and a font size of 36. The third element, in addition to the styles for all odd numbered elements, add a font size of 24. So this is going to be on the third element. This is number 3, and so we can do this one with an ID of equal to third element. And here we can go third element. And it says that it wants to be font size of 24 pixels. Nice. Now if we save that, we should see that the number 3, the third element, should change its font size. So if we saved the CSS, we saved the HTML, and then if we refresh here, we see it's there. Cool. So this is really starting to look like the desired outcome. All right, moving on to the fourth element, a light green background. So we'll call this one fourth element. And we want to make it a background color of light green. And if we save that and refresh, well, that doesn't happen. Why? Obviously, or not obviously, but we don't have the HTML filled out. So if I save the HTML and I save the CSS, now if I refresh the page, it didn't work. ID equals fourth element. A light green background and a font size of 24. Fourth element. Geez, do I not? How do you spell fourth? That's right, right? Yeah. Okay, so now if I refresh this, did I save it? Fourth element, an ID of fourth element. Refresh, it doesn't work. This is the ID selector, font element, class ID. I wonder if we make it like a class. Does that change it? Nope. Save this, refresh. Number 4. Oh, yeah, I'm doing it on the 5th one. So the 4th element should be here. So we'll make this an ID is equal to 4th element. Refresh, and it doesn't work. What the heck's going on? Background color, light green. Oh, no dash. Light green. Save that. Refresh. Nope. Oh, see, I've got this class selector. We need to make this an ID selector. There we go. A light green background and font size is 24. So here we're going to go font size of 24. Save that. Refresh. 4th element. Save here. Fourth element. Font size 24 pixels, not just 24. Refresh, and there we go. Wow. Quick tip, in VS Code you can change which format colors are displayed in RGB, hex, or HSL by hovering over the value in the CSS and clicking at the top of the pop-out that appears. So yeah, I guess you can change the color like this. If we want it to be darker green like that, we could do there. So now if we save that and refresh, we'll see it's darker green. But for now, we don't want to do that because the document suggests that we use light green, like that. Save that and refresh, we're back to light green. Cool. Part of your task is to add a font to some of these elements. Your browser's font might be different than the one displayed in the desired outcome. As long as you can confirm that the fonts are being applied to the right lines, any difference are okay. So desired outcome, do the odd numbered P elements share a class? Do the odd numbered P elements. So odd numbered P elements have a class, yeah, of odd number element. Do the even numbered div elements have unique IDs? So yeah, second element is a unique ID and fourth element is a unique ID. Does the number 3 element have multiple classes? Number 3 have multiple classes. No, it doesn't. We use an ID. So if we want to make this a class, we can just do that, third element. And then we need to change third element here to be a class selector. There we go. So now if we refresh, number 3. Third element. Yeah, that should work, but it's not working. Let's make this 124. That way it's dramatic. Okay, it is working. It's just difficult to tell. Cool. And if we wanted to double, triple check, we can inspect this element, right click, and then click inspect. And then on here, we should see the third element with a font size of 24. And the cool thing is we can turn it off and on to make sure that it's working. So we're sure about that. Cool. So that takes care of class ID selectors. So we're going to go, we want to save our work to GitHub. So we got to go git status just to make sure we're in the right place. You can see we've updated our CSS and our HTML. Git diff will tell us the things that we've changed. So it says that we've got rid of this one and added it like this. And then it'll have all our updates to our CSS. So now we can just go git add and do dot to get both of the files. So now if we do git status, we'll see that they're green, which means that they're staged for committing. So now we go git commit, and this is complete the class and ID selectors section. Now we've committed our change, and so we can go git push. And that'll push our changes up to GitHub. And so now if we come over to GitHub, we refresh the page and we'll see that within Foundations and Intro to CSS and Class ID selectors, if we look at our style sheet, we can see that our answer is here. So yeah, let's compare our answer with the solution now that we're complete. The solution.css. I'm going to make this big, and we're going to just close everything except for what we're looking at. So our solution CSS and our solution HTML. So these are the solutions are on the top, and then we'll put our index. Oh, I got CSS twice. Our index and our style sheet here. And we need to actually do our index here. And we don't need that opened twice. So yeah. For our, it doesn't matter if the class names are, they did odd to odd, adjust font size, odd number element, third element is what we called that. Fourth element. Oh, look, they did a class as well, adjust font size. So did they want 3 and 4 to have the adjusted class size? README, the third element, the fourth element, a light green background and font size of 24. 24. Oh, okay. So they just, Yeah, there's CSS. Okay, so there's CSS, background color, font family. That's exactly the same. Color of blue, the second element. They called it adjust font size. Oh, the third element is what we called their adjust font size. And then they said 2 for the second element. We did blue, 36. They asked in the instructions to use the regular colors and not the hex. So that's kind of funny that this is in the solution. And then 4. Yeah, light green. And wow, they did font weight bold. But yeah, so here's the difference between the solution and ours is that for the fourth element, they did font weight bold, but I don't think that was in the instructions. I don't remember that being in there, so I don't think that that's right. But instead of having the third element, for the fourth element, they also just had third element. So ours is a little bit different, but I don't think that it makes a difference. So yeah, we've committed our difference. You know, the code's slightly different in implementation, but I don't think that it causes our solution to be incorrect. So I think we can move on. And that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next one where we do grouping selectors.